We check that out on the Cordell and Cordell traffic cameras. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Congratulations, Royals fans. The boys in blue are headed to the postseason. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan, come to T-Mobile Center January 18th. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. Listen for the sounder in this segment. You have a chance to qualify to win those tickets, to go see those two live. Bob will be there. I'll be there. Yep. I'm excited to see this.
It's going to be great, man. I can't wait. Like, Jim Gaffigan is one of my favorites. Obviously, Seinfeld's one of my favorites as well. To see the two of them together, man, it's going to be a wild, wild night. And it's not going to be like wild, like Jim Gaffigan and Seinfeld are getting naked on stage or something like that, but whatever. But it's going to be great. I've never seen Seinfeld in person. Have you ever seen Jerry in person?
No,
I haven't
that's
either.
why I'm going. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like and kind of see how his stand-up is. I don't know where he's at in his life right now with what his material is, but I could definitely go check it out and see. I think the last thing I've seen him do live was he was doing a commencement speech at Duke University.
Oh, no kidding. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, great. Gaffigan's great, too. I've
Never
seen him a couple
live.
of times. He's really, really good, really, really funny. And I think he's kind of underrated, too. So I think his TV shows have been good. I think it was called the Jim Gaffigan Show on some channel, which my wife and I really enjoyed. And then the show called My Boys back in the day was like, I don't even really remember what it was, but I know we loved it. We watched every episode of it, then it went away. We're like, where did it go? So Gaffigan's good. Obviously, Seinfeld's good. So when you hear that sounder, be caller 7913586-796.5, and you can win it. And you brought up something interesting, in the break just now with this baseball doubleheader today. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're the Braves and Mets, are you looking at each other and going, all right, we'll throw game one if you throw game two type of thing? Or what do you do? Like the Diamondbacks.
We'll give them the scenario first.
Right. If each team wins a game, they both get into the playoffs.
Correct.
Okay. If one team sweeps, then the team that sweeps gets in, and the Arizona Diamondbacks become the other team that get into the playoffs. So the Diamondbacks are just sitting here waiting around. So the Mets and Braves have a doubleheader beginning at noon today. What do you do if you're the Mets and Braves in this thing?
So this really is like what you said earlier, Dusty, with the Raiders and the Chargers.
Yeah.
Last game of the season. Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So if I'm a manager, I'm doing the whole, casino garage. Like they're reading our lips, so we got to go do this privately. Hey, just throw the first one, and then the next game, we'll throw it, and we'll just keep our players, rested basically, and screw Arizona.
But they all hate each other there in those two sides of the thing. Like the Braves and Mets, there's no love lost, right? So do you work to keep the other team out? Do you waste pitching when you have to play? Because there's no off day. You're playing tomorrow, right? One team's either going to San Diego or Milwaukee after this day today, hopefully for both of them involved. Mm-hmm. And so do you waste pitching? Like, I mean, the pressure's on whoever loses game one to win game two, too. So, I mean, the pressure gets really turned up. Like, if the Mets lose game one, their backs are against, like, it's drama at its finest,
Or
man.
they're not, because then it's like, all right, we're going to have our pitcher go out there, and he's just going to, lob it over the plate because we don't want to, wear and tear his arm. Like, we're gonna punt this game to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just win it.
Right.
And then, I don't know, just bunt every time you go to the plate, get out of the inning.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting.
That might make
to see.
baseball interesting.
Yeah. Today is going to make baseball interesting, though. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams approach it. So.
Speaking of interesting, do you want to see how interesting it was, how bad we got it wrong?
Not really.
Because
I think we failed miserably on this one.
I now do this every time I watch games on Sunday, is how bad or how accurate I was to the script. And I know for a fact I was absolutely terrible. I know I didn't get anywhere near the script.
I will do you first. Then.
Okay, fair free. Go ahead. The Chiefs will win. I will get that out of the way. First off, the Chiefs will win. Thank you.
And that's it. Scene.
Sure, yeah. Rashee Rice has a typical Rashee Rice game, somewhere along the lines of 6-7 catches for 75-plus yards. I also think that Rashee Rice could have a chance to score a touchdown. He probably will have a touchdown.
Okay.
I think that Kareem Hunt will score in the first half. He was, as of yesterday, plus 220 to score. Prop numbers weren't up there.
220 just an anytime touchdown.
Anytime touchdown, Kareem Hunt plus 220.
Oh, I think you got to hit that.
I mean, there's a chance. I think he gets it in the first half as a welcome back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
And why not do it with two middle fingers to the Los Angeles Chargers? I think Patrick Mahomes gets out of his head, like they had said on,
Nate Taylor.
Nate Taylor said, I think Patrick Mahomes throws for 250 plus, and I think Travis Kelce will get back to his typical Travis Kelce game because he eats and pries on the Los Angeles Chargers defense. I think Travis Kelce has somewhere along the lines of 6 for 70 and a touchdown. I think Justin Herbert will play. I think he plays, but I don't think he finishes. I think the defense will have 3+ sacks, and I think the final score, Bob, will be the Chiefs 30, Chargers 16. So Travis Kelce had 7 for 89.
I was going to say, that was
That's
good.
about it.
The Chiefs won, and I think the defense did have like 3.5 sacks.
They sacked him twice. Chris Jones both times.
Okay.
Not bad.
Wasn't as bad as I thought.
Give you a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mid.
C's get degrees. I got
for
2 things
diploma.
right. Yeah.
All right, here we go with Bob.
All right, here's what I've got in the script this week. Chiefs and Chargers will kick off in L.A., and the Chargers will have players missing. I don't know who it's going to be, but we're setting the tone. The Chargers are not going to be playing at full strength today. You can hear Jim Nance and Tony Romo, look out! And we'll have like maybe a missing tackle, maybe a missing quarterback. Obviously, Derwin James is not going to play in that game. So we're already going to have the folks out there with the narrative, oh, the Chiefs catch every break in the world, right? Kansas City will kick off as they do every game to start the game.
Wrong.
Chargers will move down the field. You know it's a bend but don't break defense, right? The Chargers will move down the field and probably come away with an early lead, whether it's 7-0 or 3-0. They'll get early points. The Chiefs will get the ball, and Kareem Hunt or Travis Kelce will get featured a lot on that first drive. Travis did, my friend. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. The Chiefs will also try to air it out because the narrative has been they don't throw deep anymore.
They did.
We went over those Patrick Mahomes numbers. Todd McShay is saying that nonsense. I think the Chiefs are going to open it up, and they're going to throw deep on that first drive. First half, it's going to be close. Chiefs will get a twofer at the end of the half and beginning of the second half. They'll get like a field goal or touchdown right before halftime, receive the kickoff, go down, and open up a 2-score lead. Travis Kelce will be a beast in the second half. He'll have 7 receptions on the day. He'll score a big-time touchdown. Chiefs win 34-17, and then the national fans will complain somehow about the referees, even though they're not going to have an impact on the game. And the referees didn't have an impact on the game at all yesterday, right? I had 7 receptions. I was pretty good. That's a B. That's a solid B,
Yeah,
right?
I'll B.
You know,
B.
got him scoring early points. Chiefs playing from behind, airing it out. They did a 54-yard pass and a 38-yard pass and a 29-yard pass to Noah Gray, and of course the big play at the end to Xavier Worthy to kind of win it there. What was it, 13 or 14 yards? So they aired it out a little bit. Travis got involved. I'll take a B.
Yeah, I'll take a B.
That's a solid B for that one.
Give you that. The early lead was a nice take.
Well, that happens in every game, though.
That's
I mean,
probably,
that's,
yeah.
you know, this team gives up a touchdown early and everybody loses their mind and they never get scored on again.
Chiefs lose first quarter, win the game would be a good parlay just about every week.
Oh, I was sitting next to a guy yesterday. We were down 10-0, and he goes, "Wouldn't it be nice if Missouri had legal sports bet?" I said, "Right now, I'm hammering Chiefs."
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Minus
Hammer.
6.5. I would have literally put Chiefs win by at least 6.5 at that very moment. Would have been probably like plus 325. Free money. Free money, Missouri.
yeah.
Well, you would have paid me, but you still would have
But
gotten
you
some
still
sort of juice.
yeah. something Missouri
You're
would have
getting
gotten
some
out
sort
the
of
deal.
juice.
Yeah.
Spot Fescoe, Mac Maury. I'm Dusty Likens. This is Fescoe and Dusty, brought to you by Rainer Garage Doors of Kansas City. LiftMaster has patented MyQ Technologies' #1 professionally installed garage door opener. Find them at RainerKC.com. Coming up on the other side, we dive back into this Royals anniversary of that 2014 wildcard game. Gene Watson, he'll join the show, and we'll get back into that Royals audio from the clubhouse after that victory, clinching a playoff spot. Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens, Mac Maury. You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, this week in particular, you don't have time to live with joint pain, right? We got wild card baseball games. We got a 4-0 football team. There is a lot going on, and so you don't have time to live with joint pain. You want real, lasting relief, and it's possible with my friends over at QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints, and I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed in your achy joint. Whether it's back pain or shoulder pain or knee pain, these are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things you love? Pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulder? Well, you owe it to yourself to learn more. And Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup's in charge, a former orthopedic surgeon and pioneer in clinical regenerative medicine. So call QC Kinetics today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our 2 soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can upgrade your home with up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like Whirlpool. Enhance your kitchen with quality and convenience from Whirlpool, like the freestanding electric range with built-in air fryer and the tall tub dishwasher with third rack, all available at the Home Depot. Right now, shop Labor Day savings up to $1,500 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
This is an ad by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Hey everyone, it's Boomer Esiason. What's something that you've always wanted to learn? An instrument, a new language, how not to burn pasta. Whether it's big or small, imagine how great it would feel to finally do it. As kids, we're always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity that made life feel so exciting. So it's easy to think that we are who we are and we can't change. But BetterHelp is here to tell you that it's never too late to be who you want to be. Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age. BetterHelp makes it easy to get started with affordable phone, video, or live chat sessions you could do from anywhere, and the option to message your therapist between sessions if anything comes up. So why not rediscover possibility with BetterHelp? Visit BetterHelp.com/Boomer today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Boomer.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Missouri side, I-70 westbound, very slow as you make your way from Little Blue Parkway out towards Lee Summit Road. There's an accident blocking 2 left lanes as we check that out on the Cordell and Cordell traffic cameras. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Back in on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan. A busy day on a Monday. It's flying by. You think today is fast.
No
Wait
doubt.
till tomorrow and Wednesday. And then by the time the Royals have won their first 2 in Baltimore, it'll be ready for the weekend, which is football, college football, pro football. Chiefs play Monday night, which means next week's even shorter.
Yeah, next week is going to fly by, too, because that Monday night game, man. I tell you, it'll be your first Monday night experience. Thursday night's not bad. You got Friday, and you can recover for the weekend. These Monday night games.
Mac, you going to the game on Monday?
I believe so.
Tuesday. We better bring donuts for Mac on Tuesday.
A lot of coffee, IV, and straight caffeine.
That's right.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
You'll be fine. You're young.
I'll live.
Malleable.
The Royals, or the Chiefs still have Justin Watson. The Royals used to have Gene Watson.
That's exactly right. Gene Watson, man, responsible for getting us Cole Reagans here in Kansas City last year. Really fought to bring Cole Reagans to Kansas City, and now he's the #1 starter for the wild card game against the Orioles this week. And Gene was the assistant to the general manager back in 2014 when they won the wild card, and he shares his wild card memory.
You know, to be honest with you, man, when you're down that late by that much, your mind begins to go into, okay, you know, what's next? You know, what are we going to have meetings? You know, what's this even going to look like? You know, what's going to happen? Because we had put so much from the minute we made the Shields and Davis deal to all the transactions, the Johnny Cuetos, the Edison Volquezes, the Chris Youngs, all the deals that we had made. And to come up short in this one game was just going to be a real devastating thing for the organization and really not knowing what's next, you know, what's going to happen. And you begin to go into a mode of, okay, you know, we're going to have to get to the fall league. We're going to have meetings with our scouts to talk about, you know, what we're going to do. And just to know that, you know, Rusty Kuntz and the plan that he had, knowing that John Lester had not thrown over to first base, was not going to throw over to first base, and just to put the game in motion in the way that he did and to get us back into that ball game. You know, Mike Moustakas, I don't know if many people know that Mike Moustakas, you know, came off the field in the dugout and basically challenged the entire dugout that we are not losing this game tonight. So it was kind of a culmination of that first wave of Billy and Gordo and Luke Hochshafer and Zach Greinke through that 06 to 010 group, and then, you know, Haas and Moose and all that next group kind of blended, Gordo, that next group kind of blending together. It was kind of like all the winning that they had done in the minor leagues, all the winning they had done with Team USA was all came to one culmination, one moment in time, down 7-3 to John Lester, where they just said, we're not going to quit. We're not going to lose this game. And it just really set the tempo for what was just an amazing ride.
Was that wild card game the greatest baseball game you've ever been a part of?
It's not even close. It's not even close. 35 years to the day, it's not even close.
I mean, I'm looking at my leg right now, the goosebumps when you're talking about it, because it's 10 years. It's gone by in a blur, Gene, as we all know. It also feels like it was, you know, just yesterday, and we were all getting there for that game and getting excited, wondering if we're in the postseason. And we talked to Ned, and he goes, "Nah, it doesn't count. You know, it doesn't count if you don't win the wild card game. It didn't count that we were in the postseason." Was that the attitude that everybody had?
100%. I mean, and when you make the commitment, we'd won like 72 games in 2012, and you make the Shields and Davis deal, which was one of the more controversial trades, made in baseball at the time, and then you fall short in 13. You fall short in 14, and our mindset was never to just get in the playoffs. Our mindset was to win a world championship, because over the course of history, when you talk about competition over process and finance, you play to win world championships, and ultimately that's what you will be remembered for. And that was our goal from the minute we got to Kansas City in 2006. And so just that one night, that one game really in so many intangible ways set the tone for us to continue to push to get us there in player acquisition and our processes and the employees we were bringing in the way we approached, our players with our fans. And I've never seen a city that had a connection with the players, even to today, like Kansas City does. It's just such a special place for players and fans. It's such a unique, kind of a small town vibe where, the fans have so much access to the players, and just the stories behind the scenes, the power and light parties where the players are paying all the bar tabs, and they'd go to a restaurant and they'd leave waitresses tickets to the games, and they'd stop by and visit elderly fans that could. There's just so many great stories that come from that season that just ultimately define what the organization ended up being in 2015.
That's Gene Watson, former assistant to the general manager, recounting his tales of the wild card game. We've heard from Ryan Lefevre this morning. We've heard from Ned Yost this morning. We'll hear from Pedro Grifol in the 9 o'clock hour and talk about being in that dugout, watching Salvi get that base hit to win that wild card game. And you can catch all these interviews in full on the podcast page of the Odyssey app under Fescoe and Dusty. You can hear from Dayton Moore. You can hear from Josh Willingham. You can hear from Christian Colon, and the full interviews of everybody that we talked to throughout this this 10-year look back. 10 years ago today was the greatest baseball game we ever did see. So
I want to bring this up because I don't know. Obviously, we can't tell the future 10 years from now,
right?
But where do you think this puts John Sherman this year on his tenure after what he was kind of scrutinized as of last year and this year moving into this season?
I don't think anybody has gained more by the Royals being in the postseason than John Sherman. And I think, when the season started, I think there were a lot of fans who didn't like John because of the stadium thing that was going on. They thought he was, trying to build a stadium for himself and not for Kansas City, which couldn't be anything further from the truth. John Sherman, I think, has done amazing things since he has taken over this ball club. He bought it right before COVID, navigated through a COVID, year, then navigated through half fans, then navigated through a 106-loss season, made a major change at the top of his organization, appointed J.J. Piccolo as the general manager, spent $110 million or whatever it was this offseason, locked up Bobby Witt long-term, and the Royals are in the playoffs. And if you had a beef with John Sherman in April or whatever it may have been for whatever reason, I don't think you can have a beef with John Sherman now. I got to look at John Sherman, and I know this isn't going to be true, Dusty, but I'm going to say it anyway. He should have a 100% approval rating right now from Royals fans. Like, why wouldn't you approve of what John Sherman is doing with this ball club right now? I love everything that he has done, with this organization, and he continues to move it forward. He should have a 100% approval rating at this point in time.
He should have got a 100% approval rating after giving Bobby Witt Jr. a long-term contract.
Yeah, but they didn't even stop after that, know?
No. And, I think he's shown multiple times that he cares about winning baseball because of everything that he's done. Sign your perennial MVP candidate, batting champion this year to a long-term deal. Keep him in Kansas City. Not only that, went into this offseason, found a bunch of arms to revamp this pitching rotation. Lugo and Waka are not here. This team is not doing what they're doing this year.
No.
And then the injury happens to Vinny Pasquantino, the trade deadline. You go get pieces. You might not have liked everything that happened. That's the way baseball works. You go try to find somebody that can be a fit to this system. Maybe you get 3 or 4 and one pans out. That's still a win no matter how you look at it. You found your closer. Whether he's as nails as, Kenley Jansen in his prime or Wade Davis in his prime, that's beyond him. You have a guy that is a solidified closer. Not only that, you are now adding to your bullpen with guys like Michael Lorenzen. You're adding arms to your bullpen with a guy like Brady Singer. You can build
I have
that
no
team.
faith in him. I'll just say I don't need to see Brady Singer anymore this year.
No, that's fair. I mean, he's on your Sky Moore list.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's my Sky Moore. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
But, that's the thing about this Royals team is that now they have house money. They don't have as much pressure as if any pressure that anybody else has. Dodgers the favorite, Yankees the second favorite to win the World Series. And then the Royals are sitting down there at plus 2,500. So, just do what got you here. Keep doing your starting pitching. Keep playing defense and cause havoc on the base path, because now you're going to see Bobby try to swipe second, I think, more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see Darren Blanco come in the sixth and try to get that base running, that stolen base, and get somebody in. You go up 2-0 in the sixth inning, there's a really good chance this Royals team could win that game almost every single game.
I agree, and that's really all it takes in the playoffs is get those little leads early and then hang on to those leads. And I think a lot of this series, and we'll get Josh Vernier in on this conversation as well, a lot of the series truly, to me, resides with Q and the way that he manages this team. I do not want to see him, as we said on Friday, manage like that cat did down in Tampa and take Blake Snell out of a game and where he's dominating. If Cole Reagans is rolling through this thing, you leave Cole Reagans in there for as long as you possibly can. This is an HDH at the back end of the bullpen. You don't want to chance it, because I think the game plan for Baltimore, much like the game plan for the Royals, should be just get to the bullpen and we're going to have a chance. Get to the bullpen and we're going to have an opportunity. Well, if Cole Reagans is dealing, I don't want to get to the bullpen. I don't want a bullpen pitcher. I think it's fine to allow Cole Reagans to go. If he's cruising and you get to 6 innings and it's nothing, you can't turn it over to the bullpen. Learn from the mistakes that guy made in Tampa, where Matt Quatraro was on the bench of, and don't make those mistakes again by pulling a starter out when he's dominating right now, because the bullpen just isn't to that level where it was with HDH. You don't have an automatic 7, 8, 9. Let your starter cook, man. And if Cole Reagans stays in for 8 innings and they win the series because of it, that's great. But I think you got to ride with Cole Reagans and Lugo for as long as you possibly can in these games.
It's also interesting how every sort of scenario in playoff baseball has a little nugget to it, right? Like if the Royals and Yankees play in the divisional round, we'll go back to the 70s and what those teams were. Sure. This series is, a battle of Adley Rutschman and Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
Both these guys were drafted to change their franchises that were down in the dumps. Since the addition of Adley Rutschman, the Baltimore Orioles general manager has really built that team up. Obviously, the additions of Gunnar Henderson and other players as well, Matt Holliday, Jackson Holliday's son, or Matt Holliday's son. And then you look at Bobby Witt Jr., picked second in that draft, given a big contract. Both teams are playing in the playoffs, and it's game one, and both these guys are face changes for their franchise, and they're both doing their job. And speaking of doing their job, Vern, you're putting in overtime in playoff baseball. I think you're the only guy that's okay doing overtime when you really want to with this playoff push run here for the Royals.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of people. There's a slight echo. There are a lot of people that are happy working overtime when it comes to this Royals ball club.
Josh Vernier, a Royals insider here on 96.5 The Fan. And, obviously today, Josh, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Royals wild card win. We played the game last night. We've been having kind of retrospective from folks who were part of that game and part of the organization some 10 years ago. And when you look back 10 years ago, where we were going into that wild card game, it kind of gives me the same feeling of going into this Baltimore series, Vern. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just kind of, happy to be here. I don't have high expectations. I don't have any expectations. Whatever happens is great for me at this point in time. What is the feeling that you have from an expectation standpoint going into this Baltimore series and going into this postseason?
Well, expectations, I think the Royals can win this series.
I do too. I think the first break, Vern, is
move on and take on the New York Yankees in the ALDS. But to your point, as far as pressure, honestly, I don't think there's as much pressure on this team as there was in 2014. You had the whole, well, if they don't win this game, they never even really made it to October, so did they really even make the postseason? There was some pressure on that team because it had been building, dating back to 2011 and 2012 and our time. And, this was Haas and Moose and Kane and Billy and Gordo. We were ready. We've been building this thing up. Ned, don't screw it up. Ned, I swear to God, if you screw... So there was real pressure on that team. The only pressure I see for this 2024 ball club is individual. You mentioned Matt Quatraro earlier. Of course, there's pressure on the skipper for all 12 playoff teams, for maybe even 13 if you want to throw the Mets and the Braves for the game coming up. The games coming up later on today. And then on an individual basis, Bobby Witt Jr., a great season, batting title, 211 base hits. But I remember growing up watching Barry Bonds win MVPs in the National League and then lay an egg in October, and all anyone talked about was the egg in October. Now, in Kansas City, we'll appreciate what Bobby's done regardless of what happens the next few weeks. It is the greatest season ever put forth by anybody in a Royals uniform, but as far as a national landscape, Bobby needs to make some noise. If he's going to do what you talked about last week, Bob, which I agree 100%, Bobby has the chance to ascend on a national level to where Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge are. So Bobby, Salvi, of course, has some pressure on him as he tries to really put the finishing touches on his Hall of Fame candidacy. And then your other two All-Stars, Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo. Let's not goof around. Those guys have plenty of pressure on them because, to your point, right before I came on, Bob, Cole Reagan's, I still believe he's the best option to face that Baltimore lineup a third time. When we get to the 6th or the 7th inning, if Cole Reagan's is doing what he's done all season, I want him facing Rutschman and Santander and Gunnar Henderson a third time. Again, I'll go back to something I brought up on the show a few times. If you have 4 battles with Gunnar Henderson over the course of Tuesday's Game 1, who do you want on the hill for those 4 plate appearances? To me, it's still Cole Reagan's for the first 3 and then Lucas Erceg for the 4th.
Talking with Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, and I think the first break of the postseason happened yesterday. The Royals got Baltimore and not Houston. I didn't like that matchup with Houston. I personally love this matchup with Baltimore. I hear from people that are smarter than me about baseball. I see the odds. Nobody's favoring the Royals. Why does it appear they're such an underdog from everybody outside of Kansas City?
Do you have the odds in front of you?
I
haven't
do,
seen them
yeah.
yet.
I saw plus 155 this morning, plus 131. I think Dusty saw plus 144. Like, it's pretty heavily favored against the Royals in this game.
Yeah, to me that sounds more just like a lay-in 3.5 in football because they're at home. Plus 130 something. Yeah, I'll ride that all day. When I look at the matchup of these two teams, when I look at the tail of the tape, I really don't care about Baltimore's offense in April or May.
Right.
And I really don't care about season statistics. So earlier today, I'm diving into what these two teams have done since the calendar flipped to September. The only advantage that Baltimore has is obviously offensively. Since September started, Baltimore has the 10th best offense in Major League Baseball. The Royals third to last. But outside of that, everything is advantage Royals. Since the beginning of September, the Royals have the 8th best rotation, Baltimore 21st. Bullpen, since the beginning of September, the Royals 4th best in baseball, Baltimore 17th. The Royals all season have had the best defense, Baltimore's barely top 20. And both teams in September have been middle of the road on the base paths, but the Royals still slightly better. And as Dusty mentioned a moment ago, it's already October coming up tomorrow. Once that calendar flips to October, I do think you'll see a bit more aggressiveness on the base paths, just like we did 10 years ago during that wild card game. So really, tail of the tape says, if the Royals pitching can do what they've done all season, and that is limit good hitting, well, then the Royals are the better team starting on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I agree.
Or afternoon, I should say.
I totally agree. That's why I needed to talk to you and make sure I wasn't, hungover or drunk or something when I'm looking at this going like, I can't comprehend why everybody loves Baltimore, in this series other than playing at home. But they were actually a better road team this year than they were at home.
Furthermore, listen, Baltimore, and Bob, you know this, first inning. Bobby runs into one. Vinny Pasquantino runs into one against Corbin Burns. And all of a sudden, the 40,000 at Camden Yards, which can make noise. They are terrific baseball fans, but they are playing with a lot of pressure, right?
Yep.
They got swept last year by the eventual World Series champion Texas Rangers. That was a Baltimore team that won 100 games, but they were just kind of bursting onto the scenes. The fans were okay with it. It was still an exciting season. 2024 in Baltimore will not be an exciting season if they lose in the wild card series. It will not be acceptable. They're not playing with the same kind of house money that the Kansas City Royals are. So to me, man, with Bobby, Salvi, the power potential of a MJ Melendez, a Hunter Renfroe, those guys with one swing of the bat can not only erase lesser than seasons, if we're talking about in MJ Melendez or a Michael Massey, not only can they completely flip around their 2024, but they can shut that place down quick. It will get very tight. The backsides will pucker up of every Orioles fan if the Royals find themselves jumping out to an early lead, because home field advantage could actually work against Baltimore, because the pressure, the anxiety being felt in the stands will find its way into that dugout, onto that field, and hopefully onto that mound and inside the head of a Corbin Burns.
Vern, what do you expect in this series? I know there's a lot going on. You'll be diving into it with your pregame show that starts, I believe, at 2 o'clock tomorrow. But what's kind of like Vern's, like, you know, maybe there's an unsung hero. Maybe there's somebody you're watching outside of the typical Bobby, Sal, and Cole Reagans when it comes to this game on Tuesday at 3:08.
No. What I'm watching is what got them here.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, man, if Vinny can be on the roster, whether or not he's in the lineup or not, but if Vinny can be a part of it, man, then that almost brings back the team that we've watched all season, a team that was steamrolling towards 90-plus victories. It's the same team we watched for a majority of the first 6 months of the season, but with a better bullpen. It certainly feels so. When I look at this game 2, game 1 tomorrow, it's the standard that has been set by this team. That's what I'm looking for. Elite starting pitching, elite defense, elite team speed, and I need my clutch bats and Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny. I need them to be clutch. If you do what you've done all season, there's really no reason to believe that the Royals won't move on to take on the Yankees. Now, you get to the ALDS, you get to the ALCS, where it's more tournament baseball. You're getting a little bit more off time in there. The Yankees will be able to ride their now their bullpen isn't anything to necessarily fear. They will have some additional starters out of that bullpen. Luke Weaver has been throwing the ball well, but they'll be able to go to the relievers for multiple innings, multiple days in a row. So I think once the ALDS gets here, the game starts to change. The expectations start to change. But if you're playing day in and day out, you're playing regular season baseball like the Wild Card Series is. Reagans and Lugo, I'll put them up against anybody in the sport. So, yeah, I'm leaning Royals for sure.
Yeah, and like, I feel confident every week about the Chiefs 35-0 that they're going to win. I have that confidence for the Royals, and I don't care what odds say. I don't care what people in the industry say. I'm not losing that confidence on this baseball team right now, because the Yankees don't even scare me. Vern, like, had we been facing Houston, I'd be a little concerned, obviously. Like, that's a legitimate 7 straight ALCS appearances and all that. They understand what it takes and how to win.
And the pitching.
And the pitching, right. Like, I don't fear Cleveland. I don't fear the Yankees. I don't feel the Reaper. Any of this kind of stuff. Like, yeah. I just feel, maybe I'm uber confident in this ball club, but I just feel like the matchup works for them. We'll see you in New York.
You should be confident in this team. They have the best rotation in the postseason, and in my opinion, they have the best all-around player in the postseason in Bobby Witt Jr. And I know it's not football, it's not basketball. One guy can't make that big of a difference. But for one game, Bobby Witt Jr. certainly can. Cole Reagans certainly can. Seth Lugo certainly can. The Royals have 4 guys going in the first 2 games that can single-handedly win the game, and we've watched them single-handedly win games all summer long. I look at Baltimore, Corbin Burns and Santander and Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. They have stars as well, but I think the Royals have better arms at the end of the day. So I think that's what gets them past Baltimore. I'm with you. I don't fear anyone. I agree that Houston would have been an unfortunate draw. I'm happy that it's Baltimore. I'm not anxious to see Houston down the line. I'm not anxious really to see Cleveland down the line. But I can promise you this, the confidence that you feel is reflected inside that clubhouse. And I can tell you this without any doubt, they fear nobody.
Vinny, expectations here?
Yeah, I don't know how you can't expect it, because, listen, most organizations this time of the year are going to hold things close to the vest. They're not going to try and oversell something to their fan base. But you go back to Saturday, J.J. Piccolo's on television saying, I can't believe we're even considering Vinny Pasquantino being on the roster and in the lineup coming up on Tuesday. But here we are. And then you listen to Matt Quatrero say, yeah, it's a very real thing that Vinny could not only be on the roster, but in the lineup against Corbin Burns coming up on Tuesday. He's going to take batting practice today out in Baltimore, and if all things check out, Yeah, I would think Vinny's going to be right back in there. I don't know if he's hitting third, fourth, or fifth, but either way, one of the best clutch bats in baseball. Certainly appears as if he could be on that roster starting tomorrow, and certainly a part of the team when they go to the Bronx starting on Saturday.
All right, Vern, well, get some sleep. You got a big boy show coming up in about 30 hours here from now, as you'll be on 96.5
Quick
The Fan.
30-hour nap.
That's right, man.
Yeah,
you got
quick
this.
turnaround.
Get the emotion and the windpipes ready, man. You get some playoff baseball once again for the first time in 9 years, Vern.
No doubt. Can't wait, man. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. Love you, Vern.
Absolutely, he's right. Enjoy it is the key
That's
phrase.
right.
Enjoy what's
it.
going on, man.
Sit back and enjoy it. He talked to us there for about 10 minutes. The most important thing he said lasted 2 seconds. Said, just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
What you got to do. Coming up on the other side, injury woes continue for the Chiefs roster, what they can do, and what Mahomes continues to show as he gets older and older. Yeah, that's right. He's 29. I'm Bob Fescoe. That's Dusty Likens and Mac Morey as well. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friends over at Manning Roofing do an unbelievable job, and I knew that's who we were going to use the minute I saw the storm damage on our house 2 years ago. We got hit by that hailstorm, and I called my friend Jimmy over at Manning Roofing. I said, hey, man, we got some issues with the roof. Come on out and check it out. They were out there that day and gave us the storm damage assessment, and then Manning went to work. And the reason we hired Manning, number one, great people, great human beings, love working with great people, and Brian Manning and his crew are phenomenal. People have been there well over 5 years on the same crew. They understand how to treat the customer. Another reason you hire Manning Roofing is that they're a true general contractor. When you need a new roof, sometimes you need more. Sometimes you need windows. Sometimes you need gutters. Sometimes you need siding. Manning can handle all of that. They are a true one-stop shop. You don't have to worry about getting other offers or any of that nature. Manning takes care of everything. And with Manning Roofing, they understand how to work with the insurance companies. They've done thousands of jobs here in Kansas City and have never once been rejected by an insurance claim. Even if you're using another roofer and you're having issues with insurance, get in touch with Manning Roofing. They're here to help. Schedule your free appointment at manninggc.com or give them a call. 816-448-8208. That's 816-448-8208. Manning is my one-stop shop for roofs, gutters, siding, and windows. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
When Google Fiber first launched 1 gig internet right here in Kansas City, it cost $70. Cut to today. Over 10 years later, 1 gig internet still costs the same, $70. That's what you get with Google Fiber. Fast, reliable internet with simple, straightforward monthly billing. No data caps, no annual contracts, no hidden fees. Just a small local fee for the city on top of your flat, predictable price. Go beyond good enough. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at fiber.google.com.
Hi, we're your friends who get super excited about the holidays.
We sure are, or this isn't the ugliest holiday sweater ever.
People think we're happy because we love peppermint lattes.
Or catching snowflakes on our tongues.
But really, it's because
it's Holiday Millionaire Raffle Season!
It's your best odds to win $1 million.
That's dollars, not twinkling lights, but that would be great too.
Play the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle. Get excited!
See kslottery.com for details.
The nightmare stories are all too common with home services companies. Shoddy workmanship, subpar materials, or everyone's favorite, getting halfway done with the job and taking a 2-month break. So, if you need to replace your windows, siding, or doors, you could spend hours online researching companies. Or you can start with the perfect company and call Thermo King. With over 25 years selling and installing energy-efficient windows, James Hardie siding, and the most beautiful entry doors available, Thermo King will make your home project hassle-free and easy. Their triple glass replacement windows will save you money on your energy bills. Their James Hardie siding will last decades, and their entry doors will make your guests say, "Holy cow!" Right now, you can save thousands on replacement windows, siding, or a new entryway door. Great financing plans are available to make paying for your project easy. Get the process started today. 888-KING-WIN, or online at thermokingwindows.com.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Trouble heading out of Blue Springs, I-70 westbound pretty slow as you make your way from Woods Chapel Road all the way in towards Lee's Summit with an accident blocking 2 left lanes. Checking it out on the Cordell and Cordell traffic cameras. Eastbound 70 also slow approaching 470 with an accident in the left lane. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan traffic.
But now the Chiefs have their best starting field position. Down by 10. They'll take over at their own 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Kareem Hunt will take his turn again at running back. In motion is Sky Moore. Moving short to the right is Mahomes. Gunning it long. Coming down the near side. The pass is caught. Touchdown! Kansas City! A long bomb! And the Chiefs finally get there! A 54-yard bomb to Xavier Worthy. Patrick Mahomes, a perfect throw, burning Christian Fulton.
You can tell Mitch was ready to unleash that call. We haven't got to hear that really other than week one, Xavier Worthy's name getting dropped in that gigantic pass play by Patrick Mahomes. 54 yards, but 62.2 yards in the air. Good to see.
His longest ever.
Yeah, career high, which is interesting. Bob Fescoe, McMurray, Dusty Legacy. With Tyreek Hill and everybody, like that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I know.
God, I was happy to see that.
That was needed.
It was good, man. It was much needed. The big one to Kelsey was needed too.
Because do you remember the first drive they had an offense to start the
it was not good.
He did that like he cocked back, like he was
ready to go.
First play of the game. I saw him do that. I was like, that's either a ploy or he thought he had it. Because he was ready back.
Yep.
Like he did that thing where like you're watching the kids out in the backyard and they got like the rocker, the baseball in your hand. You're like, I don't know where he's throwing it. Whoa. And then it was like, oh, never mind. And I was like, when he did that, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then maybe that was just foreshadowing to what would eventually happen, where it was, like we had Derek Johnson on earlier. He was like, I thought he overthrew him. Turns out he hit him right in stride. I mean, Worthy made a great catch.
And pass interference on the play,
Yeah,
too.
NPI.
like he's getting pulled down, and he still finds a way to make that catch. Thank goodness, because, the Chiefs can't get a yard. So, I mean, thank goodness he was able to catch that and get in the end zone for the touchdown. But I think all the Travis Kelce conversations need to take a back seat this week. All the referee conversations need to take a back seat this week. They won a game yesterday from an offensive standpoint where they probably faced more adversity than they faced in quite some time. I mean, you lose your number one target and a guy who's going to have an all-world season, and he's done for the year because of an interception, and the quarterback takes him out. You're probably feeling pretty low, but they figured it out, and that's the beauty about this team right now, right? They're just a team and an organization that figures it out. Like, okay, this is a defensive-first team now. I'm prepared to say this is no longer an offensive juggernaut in the NFL. It is a phenomenal defense, and the offense, Patrick Mahomes is a game manager. Go out, manage the game. Don't lose the football game for us. Go out there and figure out a way to just get enough points to keep us on top. Our defense will take care of everything else. And that's kind of the changing shape of the NFL right now. And that's okay. I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to be a guy like he was in 2018. And sometimes I think everybody, including the three of us, sometimes still believe it's 2018 and they're going to be putting up 50-some points a game. And that's just not the case. I mean, I was going over my Hy-Vee savings today. I'm going to save 17 cents at the pump. That's a low number, considering the Chiefs were so used to them scoring all these points. But the last 2 years, they're not a point-scoring team. They're a defensive-led team with an offense that manages the game, that scores just enough points to give you the opportunity to win. It's been that way for the first 4 games of this season. It was pretty much that way all of last season, and that's okay. I love defensive football. This doesn't bother me in the slightest.
We did lose Rashee Rice. Information not officially out yet, but everybody's saying ACL. You hate to hear that, but you can always just, like I've said this before, watch an athlete's reaction, right? We heard about Pacheco in the locker room, in tears, towel over his head, just completely distraught. You saw Rashee Rice, like, on the sideline when he stood up. He was like, there was no pressure on anything. And then he puts the towel over his face in the cart, and he's like, I'm out. You mentioned earlier.
He had a brace on his leg, and they carted him to the bus.
Which then everybody's thought process goes, and I let the entire day kind of fizzle out before I tweeted it. And I said, okay, I think if I'm the Chiefs, I make a trade for a wide receiver 1. And again, I'm going to get backlash from this. Well, last year they did this. No, last year they had Rashee Rice.
I think they just have to make a trade for a wide receiver, because you're not going to find a number 1 out there at this point in time.
I mean, number 1 on your roster. Well, I don't think Xavier Worthy's your number 1.
You could go out and find a number 1 wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, there's a bunch.
What number 1 wide receiver is getting traded to the Chiefs at this point in time?
Well, that's what we're talking about. Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, are they going to trade him?
Well, why not? Why not?
Both those guys are possible.
If I'm Brett Veach, I call Tennessee about DeAndre Hopkins and say, hey.
But is he a 1?
Yes.
In this offense, he would be.
He's a
he'd
1.
Be your he'd be your
Why can't Xavier Worthy be the 1 right now? I mean, we've seen really good things already out of that guy.
He's not a 1 style receiver. Who's your number 1 in Philadelphia? AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Just
because he's big and tall. I mean,
because he's that style of receiver. He's the guy that can go up and get it. He can run the crossing route. He can be strong. I mean, Xavier Worthy's 170 pounds.
Yeah.
If he gets lit up over the middle like A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, those type of guys do who are receiver 1s, he's not going to make it.
Well, the good news is they don't really allow you to go over the middle and get destroyed anymore. So that's a bonus point.
Devonta Smith missed this week because he just literally went over the middle and got destroyed.
Well, dirty plays maybe, and they'll flag you for it.
Derwin James isn't playing football this week because of over the middle getting killed.
Exactly. So they're trying to take it out of the game. Right. So it's better than it was 15 years ago, going over the middle and getting your head handed to you, or something like that. I just I hate the fact that we have to categorize as wide receiver 1. I think they're going to go to a practice squad and they're going to sign some guy off a practice squad. I do, because you're going to hear, well, the salary cap, we don't have any money, all this kind of stuff. They'll end up getting some guy off a practice squad that nobody knows. Will be like, oh my God, the new Harrison Butker is here, and this guy's going to go out and perform well. Like, whoever they go out and get, I think is going to be somebody that's going to be a good football player just because of the system and the coaching and everything like that. Like, trying to go out and get a huge name, I could be wrong. I think that's a pipe dream right now, and I just don't think a big name guy is going to happen. I think we have a better chance of getting somebody that is probably on the practice squad of an NFL team right now than we do a big name receiver.
Well, you can go look at teams that are going to need picks. And you can go to Tennessee, who gave you a 3rd and a 7th for L'Jarius Sneed. You give one of those right back and say, we'll take DeAndre Hopkins. We'll give you a 5th and a 7th, if they would do that.
They say no on Hopkins, get Tyler Boyd from him.
That you could do that.
Yep.
You could go to the Carolina Panthers, who also need picks, and be like, hey, Deontay Johnson ain't going to be with your team in 3 years. Next year.
Next year.
We'll go ahead and take him off your hands
Sure.
for you. Here's a 4th-round pick for Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, that's good. But
and he's not necessarily a wide receiver one, but he would run the one routes in this offense.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that you're going to go get a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase. Could go get a Jamar Chase. Could go trade for T. Higgins. I don't know. Their season's not looking great.
No.
They got their first win this week. They're 1-3. They're obviously not going to trade with you. The thing about the Chiefs and go getting a wide receiver is you've got to find teams that are willing to do it, and you got to find teams that are willing to trade with you. Nobody in the AFC is probably going to trade with you.
That's exactly right.
Tennessee might because they don't really have a fighting chance this year.
Who does Buffalo have? They like to trade with us.
MBS.
MBS.
Did he make the team?
Yeah, he's on their roster.
He's there.
But I mean, you have guys in Jacksonville like Christian Kirk. A lot of people are looking at, but he's got a big contract. I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't look at his.
No, he does.
He had one of the hugest contracts when this wide
3
receiver
years ago. So I don't know
Yeah.
if this is his last year, if he's got another, or if he has like an opt-out way. But Amari Cooper, you can opt out. Devontae Adams, he can opt out. He's a big cap hit next year, but I think there's a way to opt out of the Devontae Adams. But again, when you tell people on different conversations, well, why would Pittsburgh or why would they do this? Why would Vegas trade Devontae Adams to the Chiefs? They probably won't.
But you still got to make the phone call
But you
for
can.
all those guys.
And I think they do go make a name or make a draft. And then somebody says, well, what about DK Metcalf? Yeah, but they're 3-0.
They're winning games.
If they win
if they
tonight,
win
they're
tonight,
4-0.
they're not
And he's
trading DK
paid
Metcalf.
massively. He's the franchise player.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of it.
no.
Trust me, the name looks great. But the problem is with this
That
conversation
division is wide open for Seattle to just take right now.
Yeah, I mean Arizona, the Rams, and whoever else is out in the West, and Seattle, and San Francisco's not doing any better. But again, you have to look at the conversation as it's not no fair trades are turned off in Madden. You have to look at a team that's willing to do it. You have to look at a contract the player's under, and you have to look at the type of player that you're going to get. You're not going to get a DK Metcalf. As much as I would love that, Seattle is not getting rid of DK Metcalf. But Cleveland, who needs help, whose season is going down the dumps, would be like, you know what? Yeah. We'll trade Amari Cooper. We'll try to get some in the offseason. So
you try to think, though, if Cleveland is smart enough to realize they're in the dumps. They did give, Deshaun Watson $230 million of fully guaranteed money. I'm not sure Cleveland's playing with a full deck and understands reality.
No doubt.
Did they just lose to the Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay, in a home game, and I say that jokingly because it was in Las Vegas, but there was orange everywhere in that stadium.
Raiders, like the Chiefs, are 2-0 versus the AFC North. Who'd have thought that was going to happen?
That's crazy,
this year?
right? That is wild.
We'll talk to our Chiefs contributor, Josh Brisco, on the other side on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I got a text from my buddy Jim last night. He's like, tell me more about Park and Go. We're getting ready to go out of town, and we want to use them because we hear you talk about Park and Go all the time. Well, they are unbelievable. They make it so easy to make a reservation at bookparkandgo.com. It's the first place I go after I book a flight is to bookparkandgo.com. Reserve my parking spot, prepay for it to save money, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And then I know I've got all covered parking for my car when I'm out of town. When you get towards that winter time and the snow and the ice and the sleet are going to be coming out of that sky, you want to know your car is safe and protected over at Park and Go. So when you're out of town, Park and Go is the perfect spot for you when you're looking to park your car. It's the number one question in Kansas City. Where are we going to park? And the answer is Park and Go. You show up at the day of your flight, give them that reservation number, and they've got the spot reserved for you. You just pull into that spot, and in seconds, the van is there to meet you and take you right to the airport terminal. When you get back, Park and Go's the best. Grab your bag, walk outside, jump on the bus, and it's right back to the trunk of your car. So do what we did and join their frequent parker program and earn points towards free parking. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in parking. Bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
We interrupt with a special report from the Missouri Lottery. With a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year, there's no shortage of Missouri Lottery winners. However, there is currently a shortage of confetti. This may impact all confetti-related activities, hullabaloos, whoop-de-doos, jamborees, shebangs, and any and all festive goings-ons. Rest assured, Missouri Lottery winners will receive a single confetto with every big win for the time being. We apologize for the shortage, but not the winning. Thus concludes this report from the Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome. Play responsibly.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your Huddle Up experience, visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I-70 westbound slow heading out of Blue Springs from Woods Chapel over past 470 with an accident that still blocks the left lane. Checking it out on the Cordell and Cordell traffic cameras. Eastbound 70 slow rolling from Lee Summit Road over towards 470 with an accident in the left lane on that side. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan traffic.
The Royals are back in the playoffs.
Fastball lifted, deep to left field. Benintendi back on the track. It's out of here. Bobby Witt Jr. delivers a go-ahead grand slam.
Your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, let's mount up in this 9 o'clock hour. We get to our Chiefs contributor of SI.com, Josh Brisco. We are, unlike Samuel L. Jackson, we are a little beaten up today as a tough one to watch. Probably the worst Chiefs play in the history of the Mahomes era. A pick, then a fumble, then an injury, and an ACL, all in one play. How are you on this, I guess, Victory Monday in Kansas City?
Yeah, I don't want to be too hyperbolic because I do think Patrick Mahomes is probably going to end up being the greatest football player to ever live. But that may be the worst single play a quarterback has ever made in the history of the sport. I mean, he throws a bad pick. He knocks out his number one receiver. At this point, we expect for the rest of the year. And then the fumble ends up going out of bounds. The Chargers get it. Yeah, happy Victory Monday, guys. Woo-woo!
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no!
All right, we will talk to you next Monday.
But that's all that matters. We got the win. Let's move on, right? Like, if any team can overcome, though, Josh, this kind of loss, you got to feel confident with the Chiefs. They overcome everything, it seems like, in this Patrick Mahomes era. So I just look at it like they'll figure it out because they always do.
Well, and so I think that's what makes this so interesting because for many, many times on many, many occasions, that's been the question and answer. Can the Chiefs overcome this? Yes. In this case, I wonder how many times they can do that in such a short period of time. Xavier Worthy's wide receiver 1. Justin Watson is wide receiver 2. Juju Smith-Schuster is wide receiver 3. There were people who didn't think the Chiefs should even bring him back just as a depth piece. He's going to be effectively starting next week, I think. The number of dominoes that have come down for this team already is what makes me wonder if this is going to be, the straw that breaks the three-peat, so to speak. They still have Travis Kelce. They apparently have prime Kareem Hunt, which I also wasn't really expecting yesterday. But I don't want to say they have to do something. I don't want to say it has to be Amari Cooper because I don't know that it has to. But this group right now, I think, is a little worse than last year's pass catchers were, certainly at least at this point in the season. I don't feel great about that, even though they are alone at the top of the AFC, and I wouldn't pick anybody over them right now. It's still a really disorienting injury for an offense that's already suffered so many of those.
Who's got a better chance to have some sort of impact on this Chiefs offense in the future? Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, or Sky Moore?
I was so hoping that's what I was so hoping that was going to be the third name. Amari Cooper.
All right.
I think like absolutely dead serious. What's more like who is more likely to put up 500 yards receiving on this team? I think I'll go with the good player on a bad team somewhere else over Sky Moore. He seems like a really nice guy. It seems like he's done what the Chiefs have asked him to do, and until the moment comes to catch the football or field the punt, his training camp was bad. I understand that they like him as a blocker, and he will get some snaps in all of this, but the fact that he did get kind of passed over for Juju pretty quickly, I think tells you enough of that story to believe that he's not going to take a significant jump up the depth chart. I think, honestly, McCole Hardman might be my answer out of that entire group if I was able to add one.
Yeah, McCole could be that guy. I mean, he's been here long enough now and is very familiar, with the playbook. Or maybe we just turn this into more of a ground and pound type of team. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire expected back this week, so you kind of add him in, to the running back mix. Obviously, as you mentioned, prime Kareem Hunt is out there doing his thing. Samaje Perine ain't bad either. Carson Steele, I don't think we'll ever see again. But those three running backs right there can give you something that, maybe you just start to go with a ground game. And like I've been saying all morning long, this is now a defensive team. I mean, the offense is here just to kind of manage the game and score enough points. As long as the defense holds them down, which they've done for 25 straight games, the offense doesn't have to be 2018.
Carson Steele in like a fifth to the Browns for Amari Cooper. You think maybe that's the trade? Just go ahead and send him to the shadow realm.
What about Carson Steele in a fifth to the Giants for like Darius Slayton or Jalen Hyatt? I mean, there's reports out of New York that those guys are both available right now.
Yeah, I really do think Brett Veach is going to be making calls here. And I'll say on the last thing on the receiver front, because I do want to talk about the ground game and the defense there, but on the receiving front, the fact that Rice is probably getting suspended for the first chunk of next season and that Hollywood's on a one-year deal, there is short-term and long-term need at the receiver spot. I think they'll try to bring Hollywood back. But if there is a guy that ends up having, and there's salary cap implications, there's draft cost implications. None of this will be easy. But if there is a guy that the Chiefs see being a part of this team for the next few years and not just a 14-game rental or whatever it ends up being, hopefully, I guess you hope it's 16 games from here on out. If there's a guy that could be a long-term solution, I do think the Chiefs should entertain that. But to your point, this is a defensive football team who gave up 10 points in the first quarter. That was an opening drive thing where I think Spags is just in information gathering mode in that first drive.
Yep.
Like, show us what you're going to show us, go score, and then it simply will not happen again. An incredible thing for a DC to be able to do. And the field goal was the Chiefs' own fault. The offense gave him 3 points, gave him the ball, and the defense didn't have anything that they could do about it after the turnover.
Yeah.
So in that space, this defense was pretty much flawless after the first drive. That's who they are. That's who Chris Jones is. They did it without Mike Dana and, frankly, without a lot to be super excited about from Karlaftis or FAU on the edges. And Dana hasn't been super powerful or super has not had a very good pressure rate to this point in the season either. And still, Trent McDuffie is so bleeping good. Chris Jones is so good. That duo is apparently enough of a nucleus for Spags to build around. And the linebacker group has, frankly, Drew Tranquill has not been good. And we saw a great game from Nick Bolton in week 3. perfectly adequate across the board against the Chargers, really for the entire defense. Like Jalen Watson looks like a legit number 2 corner now. None of that is an accident.
Yeah, I mean, and also, too, I mean, you know, Steve Spagnuolo just knows what he's doing, and Andy understands that he can rely on his defense. That's the beauty of having the best coach in the NFL on our sidelines, is this guy understands, like, all right, I don't have to go out here and make my offense score 50 points. I'm going to rely on this defense, and maybe we see more of a ball control type offense that we've ever had with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and I wonder if they will really do that as a choice, or I wonder if that's going to happen kind of out of necessity. The thing that I would add to that is that it gives both sides a margin for error. If you have a defense that is good, that bends and breaks sometimes, but you know is by and large average enough, the Chiefs lose to the Chargers with an average defense yesterday. And we saw this happen a few times last year. So this obviously isn't brand new. And, you know, the Snead version of this defense was different. And I would have said even more special, but this group's looking absolutely fantastic. Without Charles Minahu still, by the way, which is huge. Mm-hmm. But I think you can continue to try to be the offense you want to be and continue to build around Patrick Mahomes. And it's Mahomes and Kelsey and maybe Kareem Hunt and Xavier Worthy. Chase your big plays every once in a while with Worthy and be a good offense with a great defense. That can get you to the playoffs, and then by playoff time, you're going to ask Patrick Mahomes to be Patrick Mahomes again. And I think they're going to try to continue to set that standard for him. I don't think you're going to see him handing off the ball 35 times a game or anything. But being a balanced offense with a trusted defense that can keep you in a game that you shouldn't be in at that point, that's really, really valuable for a well-rounded football team. And the Chiefs can be well-rounded until they need superhero Mahomes, which typically comes around in the playoffs. And at that point, maybe you get lucky and Hollywood is healthy by then, or maybe you see a big late-year step from Morby like you did from Rice last season.
Well, Josh, we appreciate the time. Get some rest as the busy week officially starts on your Monday, and you'll be joining shows throughout the week and doing all your stuff over at SI.com as the Chiefs contributor for us. Continue to have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
I'll do the same. You guys keep an eye on all your tendons. Keep them in your knees and your elbows and your arms and your legs. Keep them where they're supposed to be, and we'll do this again next week.
Sounds good.
Josh Brisco, editor-in-chief on SI.com and our Chiefs contributor here. Peter Traeger just made a list, and I want to bring it up on the other side because I thought I got a lot of flack because I said George Pickens. He brings up a name that he thinks Brett Veach should call about. Bob, don't look yet. I want you to see your your raw take on the other side. I'm Dusty Nuggets, Bob Fescoe, Mac Morey. You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Kansas sports fans, feel the rush of football action with BetMGM. We're giving you an odds boost for any pro football wager this season. Just log into your BetMGM account today to receive an odds boost token. Then wager on any pro football matchup and apply your token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted wager hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM sports account and you'll automatically receive your odds boost token. Get ready to run up the score on your next winning pro football wager. Draw up your play for bigger thrills with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards has unrestricted funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it. It's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Today, expect sunny skies with a high of 85.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
I guess I gotta extend my mileage on the runs.
Gee, well, it's those stairs of death, brother.
Yeah, I was to say, please give me some sort of credit.
No. The stairs of death, and we've been talking about those for years here. Like, I'm not like a humble brag, but like I've never been in good shape my entire life until now. Like I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. And every morning up those stairs, it's like, oh my God. And like I run between 3 and 5 miles just about every day, and still going up those stairs is like, oh my God. And you ran downstairs to use the bathroom because the urinal's busted upstairs.
It is.
And now you're coming back and like,
I'm like sucking
Fatty
wind.
McGee, and I like to take the stairs.
I don't think I am. I'm just not stair shape.
No, it's the stairway of death, man. Everybody who walks up that
Stairway to
staircase
hell.
has the same type of reaction.
Like the 3 things Kling told me is like, 1, I'm never gonna miss waking up as early. I'm not gonna miss those stairs, but I'm gonna miss you. I was like, in that order? He's like, yeah, in that order. I was like, all right, that's fair. And now I realize why.
Terrible stairs, man. Terrible stairs. So anyway, so let's get to the Schrager suggestion.
Peter Schrag, right? Peter Schrag. He, it's interesting. So it seems like obviously we have such a head start on everybody because we're doing this at 6 a.m. and, you know, we kind of start doing the show around 6 to, well, it depends on the day. It could be starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, could end at like 8:30 at night.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself last night, okay, if I'm the Chiefs, which I'm not, and I'm thinking about this, I feel like they need to go get a wide receiver. Am I the only one in that field? Like, I know that there's some people out there that trust this team. They're like, hey, why? And I mean,
No,
like
I trust them, but I still think you need to go get somebody, right? Like, I don't think you're going to get an A number 1.
Yeah.
But you need to go, like we mentioned earlier, like Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt with the Giants. 2 available, if you will, wide receivers. Giants have traded with the Chiefs in season before. You know, those are some names that are kind of like, those are the logical type names that I would consider. Now, I would call the Raiders about Devontae Adams 100%. They probably hang up the phone as quickly as you can dial, but you still got to do your due diligence. You still got to call. I'd call Minnesota about Justin Jefferson. They probably hang up the phone as quickly as possible as well, right? Like, you got to make those phone calls. It's kind of the job of the GM, and it happens all the time. Like, you're laughing. These guys play grab ass more than you think, right? So you call these guys. You say, hey, what do you want for them? 10 first-round draft picks. Okay, nice talking to you. We'll meet in the Super Bowl or whatever. But you got to make those phone calls. But like a Darius Slayton, a Jalen Hyatt, those are logical names that you could potentially go get off of somebody's practice squad. I know the offensive coaching staff wants them to go make a move, obviously, for a wide receiver, but will they go out there and make a move? And then you have to have somebody willing to trade with you. And how many teams other than Buffalo are willing to make Kansas City better?
So Schrager goes, names I just mentioned on Good Morning Football who are at least worth calling on if you're Brett Veach.
Okay.
Number 1, Amari Cooper. He's the leader in the clubhouse, I think, in Kansas City. Everybody knows Cleveland's a blank show. Deshaun Watson can't throw a football anymore. Doesn't have any field vision. Like, watching that game, I was just like, are we literally just going to continue to do this?
Pitiful.
I'm for it. Just keep it going.
I'm also a big Winston advocate, and I want to see Winston play more than anybody else in the world.
But I want to see Cleveland continue to wallow in their own self-pity and whatever the hell goes on in Cleveland, Ohio. The other one, what were you talking about? I just lost my train of thought now.
He's going through the names that Traeger.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, number 1. Number 2 is the guy you had talked about, Jalen Hyatt, which the Chiefs had mocked Jalen Hyatt 3rd round at Tennessee. Great wide receiver. Tennessee might have the number 1 overall pick in the draft this year, too. That defensive edge rusher is amazing. Mac told me about him when we had the Madden tournament. You're like, that's the number 1 pick of the NFL draft. You heard it here. I'm like, every time I see that kid play, I'm like, Mac is starting to figure this football thing out. Sam Darnold's the MVP of the league. This guy out of Tennessee might be the number 1 overall pick. Then Travis Hunter might go second. The third name on the list, Bob, Cooper Kupp.
Did he hurt?
Yeah, but there's no way they're going to get rid of Cooper Kupp. Like, let's have realistic names. The Rams aren't getting rid of Cooper Kupp. He'll be back in like a week or 2.
Yeah.
Great song by Diamond Rio.
Well, it's interesting, though, because the Rams, they're F them picks, right? So
they're also like kind of at that point in their season where they're like, do we just pitch this away and try to come back next year and come back healthy? If they do, Cooper Kupp is a part of that process.
Yeah.
Because Puka Nakua's out. I don't know for how much longer. Cooper Kupp's been out. You have injuries. That team is not going anywhere. They're basically riding on the shoulder of Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams. And that's it. I mean, they have Demarcus Robinson. I know he's a fun name to bring up here, but maybe that's it. I'm just saying. And then his last name on the list is Keenan Allen.
That's interesting.
Which that is interesting because in Chicago, if you believe that Rome Odunze is the guy and DJ Moore is your other guy and Cole Kmet's your tight end, maybe you can kind of. But again, you have a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams who's starting to figure it out a little bit more and more each week. He needs to start figuring out how to celebrate after a win.
That was so bad.
Was a little hip, hip, hooray? You didn't like that?
Did he do that?
Oh, I'll have to show you a video.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
it's like a little kid just got a sucker at the barbershop. Yeah.
Like, I'm no big alpha guy, but I was like,
yeah.
Did not get me going.
He's like, yay.
He was, yay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
So those are his names he thinks Brett Veach should call upon. If I'm the Chiefs, I would love nothing more. We talked about this. Nothing more than to make that Golden State move when they went and got Kevin Durant. Like, the Chiefs have been beaten down. They don't have their wide receiver 1. They don't have their wide receiver 2. They don't have their running back 1. And there's still questions sometimes at left tackle. They're 4-0.
And the right tackle can't seemingly stay on sides or, even though I think he's a good football player, like 74, I don't need to hear that number again.
We saw that too much.
Yeah,
right?
Yesterday. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there are names out there. There are ways.
I think Jalen Hyatt is the most logical one. Like, if we're talking logic, of guys that you can logically go out there and get, the Giants right now at 1-3. They've got a stable of wide receivers. Malik Neighbors is clearly their number 1. Jalen Hyatt looks to me like most attainable.
Him or Slayton, to me.
Either one.
Giants,
I'm just going on this list of Schrake's put out. I would think Keenan Allen's probably number 2 on that list based on the relationship Brett Veach has with the GM up there in Chicago. Ryan Poles, obviously a guy that was here. They have that kind of relationship. And so maybe that's a number. But Keenan Allen has 7 catches this year for 30, 50 yards. It's not like he's not. He missed 2 games already this season of the 4. It's not like he's. But it's a name. It's a veteran. It's a guy. And that's what I think you're going to get. But Jalen Hyatt maybe makes more sense short-term, long-term type deal. Amari Cooper is interesting because the Browns right now, what are they, 1-3? Right? They're sitting at 1-3. Unless they make a quarterback change, their season's done. And to rub salt in the wound is what I was thinking about. Flacco's throwing darts all over Indianapolis yesterday. They just let him walk out the building. Stupid Browns. Poor, stupid, dumb Browns. And then Cooper Kupp, Schrager's probably saying it because he's probably hearing it from somebody, though. Like that's why it kind of intrigues me a little bit. I don't think Schrager's one of those guys who makes up stuff, right? Like he probably heard from somebody that Cooper Kupp could be available if the price is right out there in LA. And so that's probably why he threw him on the list. He'd be my favorite of the four, though.
Sure.
Like clearly my favorite of the four. And if there is a way that he could be available, I think you need to dig in deep on that one and see if you can get Cooper Kupp. He'd be a great fit here in Kansas City.
It's a great time to be in Kansas City. You got baseball coming around the corner. The playoff game starts tomorrow. We give you one more little interview that we had from a perspective of a bench coach in this interview process. Again, if you missed any of these, you can go back and listen to the show. If you want to hear the full interviews, you can go to the Fescoe and Dusty podcast page and listen to the entire interviews. This one comes from your good friend Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro Grifol was on the bench as obviously the bench coach during the wild card game, and we said, what was it like being in the dugout for that one?
Well, first of all, there was a lot of emotion. I mean, it all started in Chicago actually when we clinched to the wild card spot. And then obviously heading into it, we were in uncharted territory because, nobody had been in postseason before, just maybe a few guys. But, as we prepared for this game, everybody was really excited, man. I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster going into the game, and, the game starts and all of a sudden we get punched right in the mouth. And, we're down. I forget the score, how much we were down, but I remember having a conversation with Salvi. It might have been like in the sixth inning, seventh inning. And he tells me, I think we were down by 4 or 5. And he tells me, what happened here today? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, what happened here? I said, this game's not over, and I think he might have been 0 for 3 at the time. I said, just keep plugging along. You never know. You might be the guy that's going to win this game for us. And, just to keep him going and keep everybody going. That was, that's a conversation I'll never forget, the rest of my life, because, as it happened, we started creeping back in that game. We started running the bases like wild men. And all of a sudden here he is, in that, extra innings, and, to win the game, and he takes that slider down and away off the plate, and he hooks it into that corner over there in left field, and gives us a win. So it was an emotional roller coaster all the way from when we clinched, to the preparation, to the start of the game, to getting punched in the mouth, and then just start creeping back, little by little, and then, obviously, winning it.
I think it's funny when you look back at the game and you get past all the moments, Pedro, and you see that the ball that Salvador Perez hit was probably 17 feet outside the strike zone, but yet it somehow gets past a, gold-gloving MVP player at third base and Donaldson. Like, what is that whole, just kind of funny thinking about that. You're everybody talks about, Salvador Perez will swing at anything, and then there's the situation where it's just A-okay for him to do that.
You know what? I probably had the best view in the house because we're on the first base side, and I sat right behind the on-deck circle, which gives me a perfect line, down that third base line, and that's where I sat. That's where I stood every single game. And as soon as he made contact with that, with that pitch, I knew it was going to get down the line. If I would have been anywhere else in that ballpark, I probably wouldn't have thought that way or wouldn't have seen it that way. But you see where Donaldson was standing, and then that ball gets hit, and you right away I knew that we were that ball was down the line, and we were winning that ball game. So again, Salvi is Salvi for a reason. Over his career, everybody's been talking about, his plate discipline. He chases a lot. You know what? That's who he is. That's what's made him, great. That's what's made him hopefully a Hall of Famer, which he, this is for probably another show, but which I think he is. But he comes up big in big moments, and we had the right guy at the plate at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness Salvi was up there at that point in time. I mean, he's that veteran bat, kind of at the time, a couple of years into his career, but now in those tight situations, you kind of want Salvi up there again. So if he has to come up in 2024 and deliver some kind of hit like he did in 2014, you feel pretty confident about it. And you just hope that Vinny does get back into the lineup this week and adds another guy that you can kind of rely on, because if you're Baltimore at this point in time, you just don't have to pitch to Bobby and you don't have to pitch to Salvi. But if you have Vinny back in that lineup now you got three guys. You can't pitch around all three of them, so you kind of got to pick your poison out there, and it's going to be interesting to see if Vinny's back in the lineup and how that kind of lengthens the lineup as they get ready to take on Baltimore, who, I don't know, man, I just feel really good about this series. I don't feel like the Royals are, a team that should be the underdog in this one at all. I think they're playing really good baseball right now.
Somebody on the text line says they were standing in the concourse behind the dugout and had the same view of that hit. Yeah, I mean, that's, one of the greatest times of my life.
It was unbelievable, yeah.
I mean, you talk about just a mix of emotions in one night. Like you said, you canceled the show, then brought back the show, then canceled the show, run down again,
canceled
and brought it back. Everything. It's like, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I think we know what we're going to talk about. So, like, the irony of what you guys, this back when it was you, Josh, and Spec.
Yeah.
You guys, the irony of trying to put something together and put, like, your due diligence into it, because that's how these shows work. You put, Mac has 3 ideas, you have 3 or 4 ideas, I have 3 or 4 ideas, and then we kind of sprinkle it out to make the full show. That's one of those things where you spend your whole night trying to figure something out, and with one swing of a bat, you say, we have everything we need to talk about right here.
Right here. Yeah, right. It was just like the up and down, like the topics and themes that, we were probably going to talk about, October 1st of 2014 were probably all the same thoughts and themes that everybody was having as that game went along. You were like, really cool. The atmosphere is great. This is fun. It's nice to have postseason baseball in Kansas City. Whatever happens, happens. And then the game gets going, and the range of emotions in that game, and Giordano coming in the 6th inning, and everybody wanting Ned fired, and then years later finally getting the backstory on that. And that was planned for about a month, and Ned goes into that. You can check out that entire interview, as Dusty mentioned, on the podcast page. But you get all the kind of the background stuff. But the emotions that everybody went through in that game, we all felt the same thing. And then then it ends with that big hit. I mean, so moral of the story is just let the games happen. That's why I'm glad they're 3:00 in the afternoon.
Moral of the story on Monday is we have to do our overreactions. I went first the last time we did this. Bob, if you want to give me your overreaction to a Monday after the Chiefs game against the Chargers.
For me, it's just about some of the overreactions that I was seeing after yesterday's game. Number one, people saying the season's over and the Chiefs now don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl because of Rashee Rice, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll just channel my inner Q and go, should we cancel the rest of the season? And which I think is one of the greatest lines we've ever had by somebody when we say, is this a must-win game? And he goes, well, what happens if we don't? Is the rest of the season canceled, right? And that's kind of, do we just cancel the season now because Rashee Rice got hurt? Or is it okay to realize that we're just a defensive team right now and the offense just has to manage the game? I'm fine with that. One guy did tweet at me yesterday about Chris Jones and said that Chris Jones is the best player on this football team right now. And I don't know if that's an overreaction or if that is the flat-out truth, but I thought it was from at Leon FL24 on X. Jones is the best player on the team. It's hard to argue with Leon, right? It's hard to argue with Leon Flowers on that one.
I'm going to eat this Chinese food, Larry.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah, Larry, you got to bring your stuff with it, Larry. Come on now.
But it's hard to argue with that. Chris Jones is the best player on this football team right now. I don't think that's an overreaction at all. But I do think the biggest overreaction of the weekend that I heard was, oh, my God, the season's over. Rashee Rice is done. There's no way they can win a Super Bowl. And I hate to say you're wrong about that one. My biggest overreaction is there's not that many good teams in the NFL. It is a bunch.
You said you were bored with the first slate.
Yeah, I thought yesterday's early slate was. No, I had a friend over. We were talking and watching and just kind of whatever's going on is going. But I don't know, man. Like that slate of games yesterday, you kind of said it going into the weekend. It was like kind of a turd fest, and it really played out to be a turd fest. In the early games, and it makes you realize there's just not a lot of good teams in the NFL right now. There's a lot of marginal teams out there right now. But this is where we are. We're a really good team sitting at 4-0 that's beat some really good teams. We're head and shoulders above a lot of these also-rans that are kind of masquerading as NFL teams right now.
Yeah, and tonight you get a little bit of an appetizer of a not-so-good game, Tennessee at Miami. I mean, I don't know if anybody's, like, champing at the bit.
It was one of the games of the year last year, but no, not this year.
I don't know if anybody's, like, really excited.
No one cares.
That's
It
a good,
was
like,
last year?
Yeah, this is like a 6:30, like...
Exactly, yeah.
You're getting Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. It's a great appetizer. But
Say those again.
Brussels sprouts, cauliflower.
If you cook Brussels sprouts and bacon fat with bacon jelly, they're really good.
Our
Cauliflower can kick rocks. That thing sucks.
Our guy Andy Locke has a really good appetizer at Summit Bar and Grill and 3rd Street Social that has a Brussels sprout cauliflower combo. Is it
really good?
Brioche.
Yeah.
Which we'll also get into that a little bit. It's amazing.
I'm sure if Andy's rolling it out there on the menu, it's good.
I will say this, I get it every time I go.
Okay, because cauliflower sucks, man.
This is a good, we'll have to try
you a psychopath?
I am if I like it because I don't like raw cauliflower, but I like the grilled, sauteed cauliflower they give with like a little balsamic glaze over it. It's money in the bank. Show you what you drank.
I'll eat the cauliflower pizza crust,
but it's not the great appetizers like the smokehouse wings. Like nobody's going like, oh, you got wings,
right?
Like leave the table, like But the night game is Seattle at Detroit. Should be a good game. That should be that's the main event, 7:15. But again, I don't think you're far off from 4 weeks in the season. Like Tampa Bay absolutely cooked Philadelphia for a while. I mean, Philadelphia came out in the second half, looked a little bit different. They finally realized, hey, let's get the ball to Saquon Barkley.
Insane.
Insane how Nick Sirianni still has a job.
Right.
Doug Peterson's on his way out.
He still has a job. Doug Peterson's comments yesterday are some of the most insane I've ever seen. What do you want me to do? Run the plays too?
Okay, yeah. It's a two-way street, I think is what he said when it comes to execution and actually calling the plays.
They asked him about his job security. He said, that's a pretty strange question. I was like, is it? You're 0-4.
Yeah.
You've lost 11 games in a row.
Since 1990, 100 and some teams have started 0-4. Only one has made it to the playoffs.
Yep.
Who is it?
It was San Diego back in 1990.
Oh. Is that Stan Humphries?
Probably.
And Matron Means?
I don't know. Look, since 1990, just one of 105 teams to start the season 0-4 has made the playoffs, the 92 Chargers.
Wow. Okay.
So, Doug, I hate to break you the news. You're not making the playoffs. Your job is on the line.
I think my overreactions, and Mac, we can get to yours too as well, but I think my overreactions is I think it's okay because I understand that Andy Reid is probably the greatest NFL coach of all time. I know some people would argue Belichick, some people say Shula, whatever you want to, or however you want to say it. I just, from what I've seen this man do to two different leagues, NFC, AFC, Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl wins, Andy Reid just always seems to have it.
And Andy Reid always does it with whatever quarterback that he's had.
Right.
Bill Belichick was phenomenal with Lawrence Taylor and phenomenal with Tom Brady. He was below phenomenal with everybody else that he had. Andy Reid has been outstanding with everybody who has played quarterback.
Do you give him credit for the Matt Castle year?
Who?
Yes.
Bill Belichick? Yeah,
still
sure.
missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
they still missed the playoffs, but they still won 11 games and
so he has
an
outlier situation, but Andy Reid has like 5.
Andy Reid has an entire career, like
Kevin
Cobb, Michael Vick out of prison, Donovan McNabb, Alex Smith,
Nick
Foles. Yeah, Andy Reid's done it with a lot of different quarterbacks.
So I think one of the overreactions you can have is that not every game do you have to lean on Andy Reid to win you that game. I think it's okay that you can have 4 or 5 games this year, at least now, where it's okay to let Spags be the guy. Be like, hey, man, we need you. You're our guy today. Just let this defense go out there and do its thing. As long as we don't give up more than 17 points, I think we can win this game every time, and this is one of those games, Spags, where we need you. And I think Monday night against the Saints is one of those games. You have a speed threat in Shaheed going down the field. You have Olave on that team. Alvin Kamara's on that team. Don't look now, but the Chiefs are very good against opponents' running backs. Derrick Henry just ran for 199.
Did you see that run he had the other night?
Still got it.
Oh, my God. Buffalo, thanks for coming, frauds.
Derrick Henry had 199 against Buffalo last night. He didn't do anything against the Chiefs.
That fraud alert went off.
J.K. Dobbins has had 200-yard rushing games this season. First time since, I think, LT and the Chargers organization didn't really do diddly-poo against the Chiefs, right?
39 yards or something yesterday.
So they do really good job.
Kareem Hunt had more rushing yards than the Chargers offense did yesterday.
Love it. And this is another game where I think in this Monday night game, it's going to be like, hey, Pat, in the offense, can you go out there and score 17? I think I can keep the Saints and Derek Carr at 10 or below.
Yeah, and I think it was a well-balanced offense that we saw on Sunday, too. You had 29 passes, 26 runs. That's a 50-50 split in this world of the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Like, you look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers, very pedestrian quarterback, 245 yards, a touchdown, an interception, took 3 sacks, and 89 rating. That's a very pedestrian quarterback. But that's all you need right now. Like, Patrick isn't playing great this year. The first quarter of the season, I think, it's kind of been a dud for Patrick Mahomes. Interceptions, turnovers, and you blew up your wide receiver. Like, I mean, I don't know how anybody can walk away from the first quarter of the season and go, oh, Patrick Mahomes has played great this year, because he hasn't played great this year. And they're still 4-0. And they're 4-0 because of the way that this defense is playing right now and the way that they're getting after it. I mean, 25 straight games at 28 or fewer points, you're going to win just about every one of those games. So Patrick doesn't have to be this magician out there. He just has to now be a quarterback, quite frankly, that puts his team in position to score a couple of touchdowns so he doesn't make mistakes.
And another overreaction I had is that I think you have to be extremely active right now to go get a wide receiver. I think a lot of people look at last year and say, look what they did last year with this wide receiver. They had Rashee Rice last year. Yeah, they had Kadarius Toney, they had Sky Moore, they had McCole Hardman, they had a lot of those guys they had on this team. But again, they did have Rashee Rice. They don't have Rashee Rice. They have a rookie in Xavier Worthy that looks exceptional. He looks like he's well ahead of the curve. Well, he's going to be a good part of this team. But after that, it's Justin Watson. It's McCole Hardman. It's, Juju Smith-Schuster. So I think they do need to get active and go do that. Now, they do have a game against the Saints on Monday night, so they get a little bit extra day. Then they have a bye week. So they have time to kind of figure things out in these next 2 weeks to see what they really want to do. And then my other funny overreaction is anywhere from 64 and in is what Harrison Butker can do. 64 and out, he's just a little short.
He's got to make those kicks, though.
Yeah, well, 65 yards is a boot.
Hey, you got one job.
Okay.
You got one job. You got to make those kicks. That's a 2-possession, but that's a 10-point win. He makes that kick yesterday.
It was also the right time with 3 seconds left.
Of course, it was perfect time to try something like that. Not with like against the Bengals, right?
Right.
So and outside and with 20 seconds left, it would have been a bad decision. But I ultimately think, yes, we want them to go out and make a move for a wide receiver. I believe the offensive staff probably is in concert with us, would like to see them do that. But what if you just become more tight end oriented right now, right? You've got Travis Kelce. You just paid Noah Gray. You've got Wiley out there as well. I mean, maybe it's time you become a 3 tight end set offense if you can't go out and make that move that you want at wide receiver and just drastically change the offense. And you got Andy Reid, right? Having the bye week come when it does right now, as much as we bitched about the bye being too early in the season, it's now coming at the absolute right time, because you go out there, you take care of the Saints, you're 5-0, and you roll into the bye, and then you can revamp the entire offense. Like, there ain't no Cabo or Cancun or anything like that for Andy Reid at the bye week. They're going to be inside that office figuring out ways to kind of change up this offense and make things work. And then when they come back in week 7, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of tight end sets. I think it's going to be a lot of tight end type of football until, if they can go out and get some reinforcements at that wide receiver position. Use the guys that you have right now. You got 3 tight ends that are pretty good. Let's utilize them.
Dr. Mackenzie, do you have any overreactions on this Monday morning?
Yeah, I would just piggyback yours on the wide receiver one, man. I think this team's got to go add someone. I think there's just... Yeah, this wide receiver, the overreaction would be this wide receiver core now without Rice is worse than last year's.
Yeah. I mean,
and they would want Kadarius Toney. They'd add him right now.
Oh,
he would play. He would play. He would play over Sky Moore. He would be the not worst receiver on this team.
Play over Sky Moore at this point. Carson Steele may play over Sky Moore.
Well, you haven't seen my 40, but
I don't think I need to. I just need you to. I've seen your hands. I haven't seen Sky Moore.
I have them.
I don't know where his are at. He got one opportunity.
You had that one opportunity. You got to take advantage of that.
I mean, right through it. It was just like, I think everybody, for the first time in my life, in the same regards of the Chiefs, I think when that play happened, everybody said, why? Like, why are we doing this?
You got to make those plays, though. Like, and I don't want to hear, oh, he's rusty, he doesn't get many opportunities. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. Like, you need to take advantage of those opportunities, and he didn't.
Let's get to the brioche of the weekend.
That's next segment.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought we were almost done with the show today. I apologize.
Well, there's that clock right there. That tells you what time it is.
Well, we'll get to the brioche of the weekend on the other side here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Fescoe and Dusty.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Why pay 20 to 30% interest rates on your credit cards when you can pay them off with our low 4.875 mortgage rate? Home values are higher than ever. That means you have more equity than ever. You can use that equity to save money by paying off credit cards, auto loans, or get cash for home renovations. You can even just lower your monthly payments. It's your equity, and you are entitled to use it to save money. And don't forget our appraisal guarantee. If for any reason your loan doesn't close, we will pay for your appraisal. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your Huddle Up experience, visit circalasvegas.com today.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
The best of the best event at Peter's Clothiers is this Friday and Saturday only. Select from the best designers in the world, such as Samuelson, the best value in custom clothing. Also, custom Zegna cloth, the best fabric for sports coats. Come in to Peter's Clothiers, 124th and State Line.
This is a special report from the Missouri Lottery. Please do not attempt to put giant checks in the bank's pneumatic tubes. You will be provided with a bank-compatible check, or just cash. The Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Let's face it, nowadays most companies have to rely on dozens of expensive, disconnected platforms to run their business. And even then, things can get a little, well, stressful. But with Odoo's all-in-one management software, packed with a suite of fully integrated business applications, every process is streamlined. Tasks are automated, and success is just a few clicks away. See how Odoo can take your business to the next level at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Brioche of the weekend.
Big brioche guy. Love that. Yeah, good take.
Love me a good brioche bun from the Hy-Vee Bakery. I'll tell you what, man, orange package.
Those are fantastic. We got them the other day.
Put a cheese blanket on that like we're about to put a cheese blanket on this show.
We're going to put a cheese blanket on the Baltimore Orioles this week, too.
Ooh, yeah. That's right. Somebody says, guys, what about trading with Chicago acquiring Keenan Allen?
Don't hate it.
Not mad about it. I know that the people are worried about injuries. You can't worry about injuries.
Nope.
I know they happen. They're hindsight all the time. Guy got hurt. Great. It's like, well, that's the NFL.
People get hurt all the time. Like,
right.
Everybody gets hurt. There's nobody healthy right now in the NFL.
Who's damaged more right now, the Chiefs or the Niners?
Oh, the Niners by far.
I mean, they don't have Christian McCaffrey and they don't have Trent Williams.
I mean, if the Chiefs didn't have Rashee Rice injury, we wouldn't even be talking about them
Debo played this week, though, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. He did play. Yeah,
McCaffrey may never play again.
They said he's going to be back soon.
Well, that's what they think, right? Yeah, sure. They don't lie in the
NFL. The Yerman doctors might have figured something out.
No, I heard they said in Germany they didn't have any idea what it was, and they sent him back to America.
Then did you see the report? And then, this weekend, it was like Christian McCaffrey's being ramped up and should be back in the next few weeks.
I saw, November.
Yeah, it could be November.
They're liars. They're just making things up.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Oh, the NFL lying about injuries? I've never heard of that before.
Brioche of the week, and I'll take the cake on this one because I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this all weekend. How about them Colorado Buffaloes?
How about those Buffaloes? Big win.
Do you believe now?
They play a non-conference game of UCF.
You know who has the second best odds to win the Big 12 right now?
Who is the first best odds?
K-State.
Seriously?
I believe so.
Not Utah?
No. I believe K-State has the number one odds to win the Big 12. Yeah.
They had the loss.
They had the fluster to BYU. Colorado is 14-point underdogs at UCF. So let me get this out of the way first, because I've got some people that I'm pretty close to on Twitter that were kind of coming after me a little bit. Said who they played. It's not about who they played. I'm looking at what they were projected to be.
Why is that the immediate response?
Because it's college sports. That's just the way it goes. Right? The Brioche of the weekend could have been that Georgia-Alabama game. That was absolutely
outstanding.
Nuts.
Yeah.
There's a 17-year-old kid
Ryan
out
Williams,
there.
I told you now. For 3 weeks, I love this kid.
17-year-old kid out there making guys look goofy. But
the dude is 17.
14-point underdogs, and they went on the road and won by double digits, and it was really never close. Again, Travis Hunter's the best college football player in the United States. Shedeur Sanders looks a little bit better every other week. They're blocking better. Their defense is better. I had Binkley text me the entire game. He's all in on Colorado.
He is?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been there since day one, since Dion got announced as the coach. But again, not trying to throw any shades. But Colorado, man, they're now the second favorite odds to win the Big 12, and they are now favorites in every game except that K-State game.
Wow, how about that? Good for them.
4-1.
Are they favored against KU?
Yes. I'll be at that game. In Arrowhead.
You may be the only one at that game. KU lost again.
Sure. Yeah.
TCU.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's not good. Colorado's better.
That's
my brioche of the weekend, my Colorado Buffaloes. Do you believe now?
All right. I'll go with Chris Jones as my brioche of the weekend.
You like this guy.
God, the way he played yesterday, good Lord. I mean, he's going to be counted on now to kind of lead this team. He's your number one player right now. But he had 2 sacks, finishes the game the way that he did. 4 tackles, 3 solo, 2 for loss, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback pressures. Now 78.5 sacks, tying Justin Houston for 4th most all-time in franchise history. He's just the 6th player in franchise history to record 50 or more career sacks and already owns the franchise record for most sacks by a defensive tackle or nose tackle. With 1 more half sack, Jones will pass Justin Houston for 4th place outright. He owned the game yesterday. He took over that game yesterday. He was the leading catalyst in stopping the run, a couple of sacks, tackles for loss. Chris Jones is my brioche of the weekend. They don't win that game without Chris Jones playing to that level yesterday.
And, man, it just feels like every time they really need to play on defense, it's Chris Jones.
He's been great. He's been so good this year.
Yeah, we talked about him the other one. Maybe the most underrated Chief of all time. Maybe one of the most underrated players ever. Chris Jones, truly amazing. Brioche, for me, I saw a collage video. I can't even shout. I don't know what account it was on X, formerly known as Twitter, of Salvador Perez just smiling just over the years, him since a rookie.
Oh, yeah. I saw the rookie picture. I didn't realize how young he looked, right?
Yeah, and there was just a video with music in the back. Just him each year, just him kind of smiling after making plays or after a guy makes a joke. And it was just really, I was just like, damn, I love Salvi. I love this team.
Yeah.
Like, let's go, baby. Right before the playoffs. So that's my That's my brioche, Salvi. Let's go.
Yeah, I hate to break it to everybody. Tomorrow is going to be all Royals.
Yeah.
I don't know. If
Unless
you
the Royals make a trade or the Chiefs make a trade for somebody.
and that ain't going to happen because it's Monday Night Football. I'm giving you an update tomorrow. It is from 6 to 10 a.m. It's going to be Royals. So if you're looking for Chiefs content, you can check out the podcast page of today's show and let's do it. But I can promise you tomorrow, boys, like, I don't even know if I need to send you topics. I mean, it's Royals flooded tomorrow.
And Danon Hughes, who played baseball, so we'll get his take on the Royals as well. I enjoy that. Always good to get a former minor leaguer's perspective who played professional baseball and professional football tomorrow. So,
Right.
there's a lot going on.
Vern will be with us again tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, Vern will be tomorrow as well.
I like
and
it.
Wednesday.
Can't wait. I did order my playoff hoodie.
You did?
Yep.
You didn't go down there. You just ordered it online.
Too many people. I don't want to. Come on now.
Me?
Yes, I don't want to deal with all that. So,
people, I don't know about the
fast
people.
show again today. Tomorrow, it's all Royals baseball as your boys in blue take on the Baltimore Orioles to see if those O's are loyal to us. They were against Minnesota. Go do nice things for somebody. You never know. It could change their day, week, month, or year. It is simply cool to care. Kansas City, stay kind and stay safe. And stay here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. For Cody and Gold on the other side.